So Mundfish, the studio behind Atomic Heart, revealed 3 new projects at Summer Game Fest this year. Atomic Heart 2, The Cube, and Ill. This video covers everything known about these games and Mundfish's current operations, based on official announcements and recent updates. The focus is going to be on the settings, gameplay, and development status, providing a clear picture of what to expect from these titles. So let's go ahead and let's get right into it. Atomic Heart 2, announced this year, is the sequel to the 2023 action-adventure FPS Atomic Heart, which just reached 10 million players of May this year. Developed by Mundfish for PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X. It has no confirmed release date yet, but given the original game's 5-year development, most people online are speculating the game will release anywhere between 2027 and possibly 2028, so that's the most likely time Atomic Heart 2 is going to launch. The game is set in the same retro-futuristic alternate history Soviet Union, but expands to a global scale. The world faces collapse after the robot uprising from the first game, with diverse biomes, including urban centers and desolate wastelands. The narrative blends returning characters like Major with new ones centered on a mystery-driven plot. Mundfish describes it as a spiritual successor, preserving the original's dystopian aesthetic while introducing fresh elements inspired by BioShock and Cyberpunk 2077. Gameplay builds on the original's first-person shooter mechanics, but emphasizing deeper RPG elements. Players can dual-wield glove abilities such as telekinesis or frost, alongside firearms and even melee weapons. The world is more open than the original's linear facilities, featuring dynamic side quests and interactive environments. Though it's unclear if it's going to be fully open world or hub-based, development involves Mundfish's 200-person team, which has grown quite a bit from 2018 when they only had 20 people in their studio. The studio aims to address the original's criticisms, such as voice acting, while refining combat and exploration. The Soviet themes may spark renewed controversy, though Mundfish operates as an international company with staff from 10 countries, including Ukraine and Poland. And on the controversy from the first game, I do have a lot to say about that, and I probably will make a separate video talking about those issues. I've actually been wanting to make a video on Atomic Heart for a very long time. There's a few different things I want to talk about that game, and the controversy is one of them. So I'll save my opinions on that for that video, which is going to come out in the future. So subscribe for that, because you're not going to want to miss it. But my opinion on Atomic Heart 2 so far from the reveal is this thing looks fucking awesome. Everything that I loved about the first game, this looks like it's taking it to the next level, dude, with steroids, man. It's like you got insane combat, you got amazing art direction, you got the twin baddies, bro. You got more baddies, bro. It's insane how many baddies they're throwing in the game. They know their audience. They take no prisoners, and I respect them for it, all right? The game is available to wishlist on Steam right now. Out of everything I would wish from this game is, just deeper RPG mechanics and probably better bosses. I really like the bosses from the first game, but I think they can get even more creative, and I'm hoping they just go all out in this next title. And to be honest, Atomic Heart 2, I was not expecting them to announce it. I was thinking they're just going to announce the 4th DLC for the first game because they have one last DLC to release. It was a big surprise, and I'm all here for it. But the biggest surprise for sure is actually the next game we're going to talk about, The Cube. Nobody, and I mean, I guarantee you nobody had this game on their bingo card for this year. Not a single person. The Cube is a multiplayer MMO RPG shooter set in the Atomic Heart universe. It's going to be developed for PlayStation 5, PC, Xbox Series X. I don't know if there's going to be crossplay, but it's possible since it's an MMO and it's all about multiplayer. Crossplay is going to be a big factor. No release date has been announced, and since it is an MMO, there is a chance it's going to have a long development, but a lot of people are still speculating online that it may potentially get released around the same time as Atomic Heart 2, or it might actually come out before Atomic Heart 2, kind of bridging the first and second game together. Now, it's set years after Atomic Heart. The game revolves around a massive levitating structure called The Cube, a geometrically perfect anomaly triggering dangerous phenomenon. Its core holds an equation critical to humanity's survival or extinction. The cube's rows and edges rotate dynamically, reshaping the environment with new quests, enemies, and biomes from surreal wastelands to industrial complexes. The aesthetic draws from Soviet sci-fi horror with influences from Destiny, Warframe, and even Monster Hunter. The gameplay focuses on cooperative multiplayer with players exploring vast areas, fighting bosses, and completing missions. It features persistent progression, allowing skill and gear retention through failures and extensive character customization with weapons and abilities. Now, apparently Mundfish has conducted over 70 playtests for this game in the past 2 years to refine the gameplay, learning from other MMOs as well as a bunch of different multiplayer shooter failures that have been coming out in recent years. And the reason why a lot of people are speculating that the game could come out before Atomic Heart 2 is because they've been doing the playtests. It's making people think that there's a lot more development time behind this than the second game, but who knows, we'll find out soon enough. The biggest problem that they're gonna have with this game is the fact that it is an MMO, and an MMO poses a lot of risks and challenges, especially considering Mundfish is still technically a newer studio, and even though they do have 200 people, that's not a lot for an MMO studio. Like, some of these studios be having thousands of people behind them to support these types of games, especially if they're doing so many different titles at the same time. I think that's the biggest concern that most people are gonna kind of have with this game so far. But my opinions on The Cube is, like I said, I didn't expect this at all. I love Atomic Heart. I love the aesthetic. I love the music. I love the gameplay, and the fact that I'm gonna be able to play in this universe with my friends online in an MMORPG. As far as I'm concerned, the fact that this studio, they want to take on all these different challenges and risks, I'm here for it, man. I really think that Mundfish is a very creative studio. There's a lot of young people there, a lot of people that are passionate about games. They care about what they're doing. So in my opinion, I do feel like they're really just trying to make something unique and fun. And even if it isn't completely original, I'm still gonna play it. And from the looks of the trailer, you can tell that they definitely know their audience, because just look at like the costumes that they have in this game. There's a part where they show off like a ton of gun customization. The combat looks like a lot of fun. So I'm all here for it. I'm excited, and I cannot wait to learn more about the game. The biggest problem I do have with it so far is probably the name. I feel like they could have done a better name. Like, I'm not gonna shit on it. I just, you know, The Cube, and it's a giant cube. Could have done like a little bit more. I don't know. Maybe they'll change it. Who knows? But like Atomic Heart 2 and The Cube, this next game is another one that I was not expecting to get an announcement at the Summer Game Fest, and that is Ill. Ill is a first-person survival horror action shooter developed by Team Clout, an indie studio led by Max Verheyen, and it's published under its Mundfish Power initiative, which was made to support indie studios. It targets PC, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X. You know, obviously there's no release date announced yet. Now, it's unrelated to the Atomic Heart universe, but Ill blends sci-fi horror with action, described as a cross between Half-Life and John Carpenter's The Thing. The setting and story details remain limited, but the trailer suggests a tense, visceral experience with horrific enemies and gritty body horror aesthetics. The gameplay combines shooting, likely to combine survival mechanics and resource management, typical of the genre, though specifics are undisclosed. Team Clout faced early development challenges but progressed with Mundfish's support, which provided infrastructure and guidance. The game's visual and atmospheric ambitions position it as a potential standout in the horror genre. Now, further details are expected as development continues, obviously, but Ill is a crazy game because this game has been teased online for so long. Before it was called Ill, it was actually called Germ, and it was basically a solo development thing where you would see like gameplay footage or animation, and every time a video would come out, it would go viral, it would get a ton of views, and there would be a debate in the comments on whether or not it was real or if it was just all animation because it looked so good, or it was just the physics were too crazy. And the fact that this is actually a real game that's actually going to come out is awesome because every time they would post something about this game, it would go away for like a year, 2 years, and everybody would kind of forget about it and just think, oh, well, it got canceled or maybe it wasn't real, but it is. And obviously the development behind it has been very crazy. I'm pretty sure they've actually had publishing deals with other companies that have fallen through. I'm not too sure about the specifics of that, but from what I remember, that was the case. And we're finally getting it, dude. It looks fucking badass. It looks sick. The fact, dude, like look at this part where you kicking this dude in the barrels. It's like, hell yeah, dude, I'm all here for this, and I can't believe that this is actually a game, and I can't believe that Mundfish is gonna publish it. Out of all the companies that could be publishing this game, helping the game's development, it's this team, which is insane. And that's why, in my opinion, out of all the games that were announced at the Game Fest, like, how can you say Mundfish didn't have the best reveals, dude? They had the best reveals by far. Now, there are a few others that I did like a lot, but like a lot of the studios had really crappy trailers, or they just had games that weren't that interesting. But the 3 games that they announced are just games that I know are gonna get a lot of attention. And Ill, for example, is a game that a lot of people have been wanting for years. Like, it's been in development for, I think, even as long as the first Atomic Heart. It's just insane that it's actually gonna happen, and I'm so excited for all 3 of these titles. And it's really going to show what Mundfish is made of, because we're going to get a sequel to their first title, which is going to show how they can refine gameplay mechanics and evolve, you know, the game as a whole. We're also getting an MMO title from them, so we're going to see how they handle multiplayer elements. And then we're also getting a game that they're publishing from another studio, so we get to see how they work as a publisher. So that's 3 pretty big undertakings for a studio of this size, and it's a lot for them to take on. And obviously there is a chance that it might not work out for them, and this could be, you know, them biting off too much for them to chew, but I have faith in them. I am excited. They're just trying to give the people what they want, and I'm all here for it, baby. But that's it. That pretty much covers everything we know so far about these 3 titles and what Mundfish is doing. The only thing that I guess we're waiting to hear from them about that hasn't been announced yet technically is the 4th DLC for the first game. So we still have that to look forward to. But at this point, go ahead, wishlist these games on Steam. Go ahead, follow the developers on Twitter so you can keep up with future updates going forward. If you'd like me to make videos in the future going over different updates and things on these games, I'm more than down to do that, but you guys just let me know if that's something you'd like, and let me know what you guys think about this. Do you guys like Atomic Heart? Do you guys like the idea of them publishing games? Do you like the idea that they're making an MMO with the Cube? Should we start a petition to change the Cube's name to something else? Like, what do you guys think? What's going on? Do you guys not like Atomic Heart? Are you guys excited? You know, what would you rate the trailers? I think the trailers were really well made, but what do you guys think? I love it when you guys leave comments and just talk to me about this stuff, because these are conversations I like having. You know me, so go ahead, let me know below. And if you learned anything, or if you enjoyed this video, go ahead, like, comment, and subscribe, baby. Share this video with your mom, share this video with your stepsister, share this video with your dog. You know, go ahead, if you're cool, join the Discord below, and be on the lookout for more videos. We have a lot of new content coming your way. We're still doing the gameplays, we're still playing Fallout New Vegas. But in the meantime, guys, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, the rest of your night, and I'll see you all later.